let's talk about this. Now, you can go ahead and look up the specs, and you can probably see a lot of good videos. Windows Mixed Reality TVs, this German guy is super awesome. I recommend you go look at his site. But I'm going to give you my impressions. Now, I'm coming from a point where I wasn't messing with virtual reality before this point, so I kind of lack some of those more proficient observations or snobbish perspectives, however you want to phrase it. Mixed reality, the name. You don't. I thought originally that the cameras allowed you to see what's going on. That is not true. This is a VR headset. I think mixed reality is both a marketing ploy, kind of like Generation 4 before they were at that Gen 4 era for communication, or they are counting in that this unit does not require light towers, which you will see with both the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. This uses these two cameras, and by doing it, it actually kind of targets everything in front, so it's using reality to determine where everything is. That's a stretch, I know, but that's how I think they were trying to roll with it. I originally wanted the Dell unit. The Dell unit has a wider pad for the forehead, even though it's a little heavier, so it kind of spread, a little bit more of dispersal. But they were out of them at the point that I had this, and since it was included with the gear, I was like, oh yeah, cool. Alright, so let's, the difference between the Oculus Rift and them is you need a USB 2 or 3, preferably 3 plug, and an HDML 2 and or 1 or 0. So basically a 2.0 preferably, but you can get by for 1. The differences is that one runs at 60 hertz, one runs at 90 hertz, so you get a little bit nicer picture. Now, the other thing about the Samsung one, if you pay for the bones, is it's got the ability to change how far apart these are. If you got this, it works for me. Now, if you got particularly narrow or wide eye set, you may want to go and check that out. All the Microsoft stores, if there's one close to you, has this unit as well as the other 4 units, so you can try them on. Now, when you have it on like this, it is kind of cool to be able to flip up. Mainly what happens when you flip up like this is that the interface goes purely from just virtual to allow you to work your mouse. So if you want to flip up and check something and flip down, there you go. The controllers. I also, 2 AA's, I picked up off Amazon 2,000 amp hour batteries. I've got 8 of them. You can burn through 4 pretty fast. So it's 4 hours of play or a couple sessions, and it's going to want to change out. This does work with Steam. And again, there's a few things you have to do. Go to Mixed Reality TV for that. When you get in under Steam, you basically have these controls work, this button works, and the trigger and the grip. The stick kind of works depending on the game, but they're trying to remap everything, so we kind of got to give them a break. More mixed reality headset games are coming out. The grip isn't bad. The Samsung one's a little bit more rounded, is what I discovered when I was surprised. But all the other 4 have kind of identical, A and B, and there's a little bit of first-time setup of getting this to pair with your Bluetooth. So that's why laptops are preferable, unless your desktop's got Bluetooth. If you don't have Bluetooth, you use a desktop, be aware of that. Once you pair them, and you turn the machine off, you've mapped your area, you turn it back on, it's ready to go, no problem. But if you move this to a different machine, or you migrate your machine, it's going to ask you to go through the setup again. If you decide to run this between 2 different computers, you'll have to remap your Bluetooth controllers again. Pain, not impossible, doesn't take long, but just be aware of it. Let's talk about the usefulness of this. And I'm going to try and keep this short, but this, again, is my impressions. You can look up the specs. There's a lot of guys demoing it. Now, can you use this for work? My feeling is yes. Although I wanted the nicer one, so with the nicer optics, because the Samsung has a little bit better resolution. Other than that, the rest of them are pretty identical with some minor changes to the physical design that really you just have to try it on and see if you like it. I actually was feeling as though, yes, I can do it. I had this on, And so I did the sitting at your desk and I'm typing, and I had not only, my front screen, which is your desktop, which you can see what's going on, but I opened a couple other screens. And it was interesting, but what I noticed is that I had to crane my neck to look at stuff. I had to look back down there to look at stuff. So that was kind of when you start mixing in, I guess, the physical world with the, versus having 3 monitors or 2 monitors, that was a little unusual. Also, you've got to make it big. You gotta make it big, but it still is very cool. Because when you're in your clip house, you also plug in your headphones. And this one, the jack happens to be right here. But in the other units, the jacks are plugged into the back, or if it's the Samsung, it comes with headphones. I found that, they're not spectacular headphones, but they work. And same thing when you use your headphones here, is it gets very peaceful. You actually become very isolated. It becomes easy to start working and looking at other stuff and not really paying attention to the world around you, which was something I did not expect. And in fact, this was really funny. As I was loading, I was waiting for something to load, I'm sitting in the cliff house, which is your start point, and the birds are tweeting, and the waves are crashing, and next thing I know, I fall asleep, and I'm dreaming I have this on, and I'm in the theater. It was weird. But be aware of that. Now, getting stuff done, super needle fine point stuff, I don't know about. But if you're trying to get some isolation, this can work for business, and there's going to be more interface. On the radio, I heard that there are several companies working on a full haptic suit. Okay, now, gaming, which is probably what most of you want to know. My impressions is, there's a lot of free stuff, so when you first get this, you can go and get a lot of demo stuff. I was even able to play some of the games on this machine, which is mainly my workhorse, and it's got a 765M GTX GeForce in it. However, when you start diving into the really much more advanced games, or you're going into Steam where it's not really set up for the lower video cards, as the more advanced the game is, the more you're going to require something. If you got 1060, you're sweeps, no problem. 1050T, you probably are still okay. You might notice some degradation. Anything higher, you're fine. And that's part of why I went ahead and I got the new laptop, which gave me this included. Included this in the incumbent price. Is it really made it easy to go, okay, well, this isn't what I want, but this one's free, so I'm just going to go with it. It's fairly durable. A lot of people have complained about this. Don't punch stuff. Oh, that's the other thing. This is really important. When you start off, it makes you map your play area. Don't go out of your way to get close. You're going to find yourself reaching out. I punched my laptop screen, just reaching out to try and grab something. You can get that lost in it. The games I did pay for that I recommend you look at. I paid for Arizona Sunshine. It doesn't work as well through Steam for me, but Steam was way cool, refunded my money, and then I turned around and bought it off of Microsoft. A lot of fun. I got very lost in it. It's still, rather than just run and gun and everything like that, you gotta be a little more you gotta think a lot more. And when I was aiming, even though I had the goggles on, I found myself closing one eye to get that aim in to do the shot. It was really cool. Space Pirate video game. It's Galaga, only you're there, and that one's a lot of fun, a little bit more active. And for those of us who are a little more sedentary, surprise. And speaking of getting into your groove of things, Audio Shield, way friggin' cool. Audio Shield is you get this ethereal kind of concert zone like you're a DJ, and you've got these. You can choose your type of shields, and one's orange, one's blue. Blue on the side, orange on that side, and then these orbs come towards you, or water balloons, whatever you want to call them. And as you hit them, the song notes change, and one color destroys one color, one destroys the other, and then purple in case it's a mix, and then your shields form a purple shield. After 2 sessions of that, I was actually starting to perspire a little bit. So there is a lot of activity in here, although you don't, and that was on a small space that I carved out. So the games are fun. They really are. Here's what you really want to know. You want to know, is it worth the money that I see people party out? Should I wait? And this is a really good question to ask. And honestly, if I'm still what I call a casual user of this, and I'm not sorry, and I would have paid $300 for it. I would have paid $400 for it, where everything was on sale. I was ready to pay $500 with, 6 months same as cash. Also, look on Microsoft Store. They have sales all the time, and they bundle machines all the time. So, there's some opportunities out there. If you look on Amazon, I saw this as cheap as $2.99 during Christmas. And as the new ones roll out, and they're already starting to roll out, they're not out yet, but they are in the beta test process. You're going to see these drop in price. So honestly, for something you can just throw in your bag, and they give you like a little bag to throw it in. At least with this one it did. It helps keep dust off the lenses. I recommend it when you're not using it. This is a great little thing. You can throw it in your bag. You've got a sizable laptop bag. Laptop goes in. This goes in. You can go to a party, demo for people. There's even this thing called Pearl, which is just this amazing story where all you do is watch. And in fact, there's a lot of just watching stuff. There's so much free stuff on it right now. Like, you can go ahead and, this is like, if anybody remembers the age of when computer games were starting to become really cool, and there was just like a flood of independent operators throwing out their stuff, that's what we're seeing here. So it's really, we're at the point where you're looking at about anything from $2 to $30, and you've got a decent game. Hard to argue with that. There are some AAA titles for $60, but I haven't bought any of those. I haven't even tried a demo for those. I got one that it's all in Korean, I think. And there's this crazy robot guy and all these zombies and stuff. And you just kind of have to play with the controls and figure it out for yourself. And that's can be a lot of fun for people. Now, the downside, there are downsides. One, after you wear this thing for a little while, after you wear this thing for a while, you're like, oh, I need to go back to regular reality. The second thing is, when you're doing it with the Steam, sometimes it's, if you're sitting there in the dark for a little while and you're like, what's going on? Lift it up and peek, because often it'll be, are you sure you want to let this have control of your machine? Are you sure you want to let this do this thing on your computer? We've all seen it. Those come up, but they don't come up here, so you can miss it. So you need to check that. The other thing is, the wait times are a little long, depending on what's going on. So you could be sitting there hanging out in the dark or hanging out in the virtual staging area, just kind of waiting and wondering, did it stall? I don't know. And the other part is getting the Steam to work with the Microsoft is more of an art than a science. Sometimes you have to open up, go on the desktop, and start it first. Sometimes you have to be in the Cliff House, open up your desktop, on your desktop, start it from there, and then, it takes different times. And then the more, if you've got stuff running in your background, that's going to be a problem. So, back to the last question, is it worth it? I think so. I think this is going to be the way things are going. I think that we are going to be, you could wait for the next generation to come, but if this is something you want to get into, now's the time to do it. If you've got the money or you've figured out to go to Best Buy and maybe get a same as cash or whatever store is close to you, it's definitely not a bad thing to do. And it's good exposure to how things are going to happen. There might come a day where we're putting these on and that's how we work one day a week from home. Or we even work at home. I mean, that's part of was my motivation, or at least that's what I told myself. As for the quality, it's a new system. There's going to be weird stuff going on, but I wouldn't be afraid to throw this into my backpacking roll and then take it out and go, hey, you've got to see this. So setup usually takes, if you've got the computer with you, then setup takes 10 minutes tops. There you go. I hope this helps. If anyone has any questions, I know this was really long, and I appreciate you guys rolling with me on it. I just thought this was really neat technology, and I thought that everybody appreciated it. My other video was out of sync, so. All right. Hasta.